Good morning! Last night, as I was trying to fall asleep, I came up with a few ideas to get to know my new roommates without it seeming weird. Here, I'll list them for you. What is that noise? Stiletto and Heidi were arguing about who should get to use the toaster first. There were 2 slots to toast the bread. Why not just put the bread in the toaster at the same time? They looked at me with wide eyes. Oh! As they made their toast, I asked where Jean and T were. Apparently, T headed off to karate class or something, and Jean went to the grocery store. That meant it was just the 3 of us at the house, so I turned to Heidi and asked what she liked to do in her free time. I, like to paint? Oh, cool! Maybe you could show me and Stiletto a few painting tricks later today. That sounds great. Heidi finished eating her toast and skipped upstairs. I heard her rummage through some things, and she emerged from her room holding 3 paintbrushes. Since we don't really have anything to do, after you eat, we could have a little painting session. Then she disappeared into her room again. Stiletto turned to me. Bandana, you do realize that painting is just putting colors on a white background, right? It's pretty pointless, in my opinion at least. I haven't even spent a whole day with Stiletto yet, and I can already tell she's going to come off as pretty rude a lot of the time. That's fine. This'll be fine. The rest of them seem nice at least. Please don't say that to Heidi. Painting is what she likes to do. She might take offense to what you just said. Okay. After we both finished eating, we moved from the kitchen to the living room and just started talking. After a little while, Heidi came down to join us, and we actually had a really nice conversation. That made me feel a lot better about this whole getting along thing. I was hoping that Heidi had forgotten about painting, but after a few more minutes of talking, she spoke up. So, what's the plan with painting? I got everything set up in my room. Do you want to start? Oh, yeah, we could do that. Stiletto? Whatever you think. She still wasn't very happy about painting, and it was coming off in her attitude, but at least she was trying to be nice about it. Let's go. Heidi smiled as we followed her upstairs. When we walked into her room, there were 3 canvases set up, as well as a box filled with paint colors. Heidi handed us a few brushes. Just paint whatever comes to mind. Stiletto stared at her canvas and let out a small groan. Luckily, I don't think Heidi heard it. So we're just painting anything? Yeah, whatever you want. Okay. Stiletto stuck her brush into some paint and drew a diagonal line across the canvas. Is that good? Am I done now? Heidi stared at the line. Use some tape. Huh? Heidi pushed Stiletto out of the way and began to tape up her canvas. Stiletto stared at me and mouthed help. I shrugged. I didn't know what to do. There you go. Use the tape to paint a straight line. Stiletto stood up and began to paint, but Heidi studied Stiletto and interrupted again. Maybe I should do the painting for right now. Seriously? You'll get better. Don't worry. I just want to make your painting perfect. It's a diagonal line. It could use some fixing up, just like any other painting. I stood there watching this all unfold. So apparently Heidi could be a perfectionist. That's fine. I'm just getting to know these girls. I'm sure we'll get along in the future, right? Just then, I heard the door open from downstairs. I better go check that, I said to Heidi and Stiletto as I put my brush down and began to walk downstairs. Jean was back from the grocery store, carrying 2 bags full of food. Do you need any help with that? I'm fine. She grunted, setting the bags down on the kitchen countertop. Well, I can help you with the other groceries. Sure, but first, I've got a surprise. She ran out of the room and grabbed another grocery bag. Are you ready? I think so. Great, because look at this. Jean stuck her hand into the bag and pulled out a tiny kitten. You got us a cat? Isn't he adorable? Well, yes, he is adorable, but there's more. There is. Jean ran back out of the room and came in with 5 more bags. You got us 6 cats? Jean's eyes lit up in excitement. There was this lady outside of the grocery store who was just giving them away. Aren't they the sweetest things? As much as I wanted to make a logical decision in this situation, Jean was just so happy I couldn't let her down. They are very cute, but maybe you could just keep them in your room? I don't know how the others would feel about having to take care of 6 cats. We can do that, yeah. After working together with Jean to place all the cats in her room, Jean went back out to finish unloading the groceries, and I walked back upstairs to Stiletto and Heidi. I was expecting somewhat of a chaotic scene, but what I wasn't expecting was a full-out paint war. And I especially wasn't expecting the 2 of them to actually get along? Oh, hi, Bandana! Stiletto glanced over to me quickly as she shut one eye and aimed a blast of paint over to Heidi. Heidi laughed and grabbed some paint to throw back at Stiletto. You realize you both will have to clean this up later, right? I looked around the place. It was a very colorful mess. Yes! Stiletto and Heidi shouted in unison as they squirted more paint at each other. Okay then. Have fun, I guess. I couldn't help leaving the room with a smile on my face. It was a mess, but Stiletto and Heidi were finally getting along, which made me very relieved. But my smile quickly disappeared when I spotted the mess downstairs. Somehow, the cats had escaped Jean's room and were running wild downstairs. Hey, Bandana, couldn't you actually help me unload How did the cats escape? Jean stopped right as she walked into the room. I don't know. No more cats? No more cats. After working together to clean up the cat's mess with Jean, I locked myself in my room to write this diary entry. This has definitely been the most relaxing part of my day. I felt like I had to be the mom over everybody, but hopefully I'm done with that for now. I just get to relax. You know, it's kind of funny. Each of my roommates has figured out some way to make a mess so far, except for T. I don't think she would make a mess. She's probably the most mature out of all of us. Never mind. I walk out of my room to the wonderful sight of T with her arm going through her wall. Are you okay?
Who brought cats in our house?
Jean, but...
I am highly allergic.
How did you even punch a hole through a wall?
Instinct.
T blinked her eyes as they were starting to water. You need to find a different way to take out all of that energy. I shook my head, still in disbelief. The hole wasn't small. At all.
I'm in karate, but my coordination is terrible. I can never seem to improve at it.
Well, maybe you could try something new. Like, I don't know, boxing? T's eyes lit up.
Boxing!
She pulled her arm out of the hole and started searching for something on her phone. I was joking.
Boxing lessons in California.
T held up her phone so I could see.
There's one that's a 15-minute walk from here. I could try that out.
Great!
Thanks, Bandana. I'd better head outside.
That would be smart. I just had dinner with everybody. They all have their flaws, but they're actually really fun to hang around the more you get to know them. And that's about it. I've got to go brush my teeth and get ready for bed now. The second seminar is tomorrow, so I guess I'll write another entry about that after it happens. Good night.